I've given thee courtesy enough. Now I fight as
Fang, Dracai of Blades.
warrior!
Hey everyone, welcome back to more Flesh and Bad, and today we're going to be doing some more F tier Fridays. So today I've decided to pick on Fang as our newest F tier hero. Fang is a hero that was recently released in the Hunted, just a warrior, which immediately makes him F tier. Warriors have kind of been getting the short end of the stick for the last couple sets at least. I think the last time a warrior was good was like Hatchet Story, I think, was maybe like the hero, I guess, that comes to mind. Yeah, but Warriors been having a rough time just because their numbers are just generally they're like they want to be like an aggro deck, but they're like not an aggro deck kind of. They're just kind of like a numbers deck, but their numbers are like worse than other aggro decks. So that's kind of the main problem with Fang. His armor suite's like pretty good. He's got like a lot of like interesting stuff going on, but he doesn't have any on hits. He doesn't really have any like disruption other than like I guess provoke. But yeah, Fang is gonna probably struggle at least for this first little part of the hunted meta, where Viserai and Zen are legal. Once like Zen and Viserai leave, and maybe like 4 or 5 other heroes, I think like Fang actually becomes like maybe like D tier. So yeah. But today I wanted to play David Yao's list. So David Yao, I think, was on the show match between like the blue pitch team as well as the card guys. I think that was the two teams that were playing. Yeah, but I stole his list because it seemed kind of the most interesting. I think Josh Lau also had like another list, but I was trying to play that list, and I think I gravitated a little bit more towards this kind of build. So let's kind of talk about it. So it's very redline build, lots of just zero cost reacts, some kind of like just solid value cards as well, like cut from the same cloth, just like a 0 for 4 that reveals hand, which is pretty cool. And yeah, just trying to play like this value aggro game, very light on blues, just so that like early on you can like use your blues to basically just try to like get your weapons turned on and stuff like that. Like the blues I think you need before you get to the point where you get 3 fealty, but after you get to the point of 3 fealty, the blues become much worse. So we're just running, I think, blues like provoke and then relentless pursuit to get additional mark. So I think that's kind of the idea. And then for our sideboard, we just have, I think, a couple slots basically dedicated to new, and then some additional blistering blades, some jagged edges, maybe for Enigma or something. Again, I'm not really. This is a very new hero, so I'm not entirely sure how to sideboard for him, but I will try my best as we kind of go along. But I think this deck looks like pretty straightforward. There's probably some cards that I will learn to cut eventually, but yeah. Anyways, I think with that, we're gonna go ahead and get into the games. I think this deck list is like actually very solid, though. I don't think the deck list itself is F tier. I think it's more so Fang's kind of position in the meta. Yeah, but we're gonna go ahead and give him a try. All right, so we've got a Viserai. Uh, Notably, there's one thing kind of potentially wrong here. So we don't have AB, but maybe we can't use AB anyways, so maybe that's fine. I guess we'll. Which one's better between Crown and Kabuto? Maybe Kabuto's better, so they can't swing like Reaping Blade or whatever. And then I guess maybe we'll bring in Shelter as like pseudo AB over like the public bounties or something. I don't know. This seems a little bit. Actually, maybe we leave in like 2 public bounties to take out the slap happies, because they probably seem kind of bad against Viserai if you can only block like 1 instance of the rune. Is that how that works? I don't entirely know. But anyways, we'll go ahead and try it. All right, so not a terrible starting hand. We can at least like cut from the same cloth. What do we want to arsenal here? I guess is the question. We actually maybe just want to go for like Blade Flurry and then arsenal to cut from the same cloth, just for more information on the next turn. So I think we'll go ahead and start with the Fire Vein, Tooth of Dragon, and Blade Flurry on this chain link. Alright, so we'll do both here. I think our next Fire Vein is swinging in for 6, 7, 6. Which they can block pretty effectively here, but we at least get 1 over, and then we can get a bigger token, which is pretty sweet. And we get to keep an arsenal, so not a terrible turn cycle from us. Alright, so the no AB is going to be a little bit suspect here, but we'll do our best. Viserai is one of the best decks right now, so it's probably not going to stay around for very long. Alright, starting off with a Rune Chant and a Rune Rager Swarm. Alright, so we do have to play a little bit around Succumb here, so I guess we can either give up a card or we can give up armor, which is better. The problem with this hand is that we don't really have, like, a ton of things to do, so maybe giving up a card here is better. Like, maybe we just give up Glint, since we already have, like, Gogan. Or maybe we're supposed to, like, give up Puncture, because Glint's, like, slightly better, I guess. Not by a ton. Alright, E-Strike in a Viserai deck is kind of interesting. I think that's the first time I've seen that. I guess we'll just go ahead and cash in our Dynamos on that then. I guess just pass. Alright, do we want to start off with the cut from the same cloth, or do we want to save that for a later turn? I feel like there's not a ton of reason to do it now. At least I don't see like a compelling reason to do it right this second. Maybe we just send in the Firebane now. Yeah, the Brave Forge Bracers are a little bit awkward with some of these attack reacts, just because if you have to like close the chain to play Brave Forge, which is a little bit awkward. But we'll go for the Pledge Fealty here. And then we would have to close the chain again, which means we can't play this. So maybe we're supposed to like pitch the or maybe we were supposed to play the cut from the same cloth. I'm not entirely sure. All right, we do probably get over here with Sisters of Fire, and then we can pay to make another Vigor. A little bit underwhelming, but kind of decent. All right, go ahead and pass it back. At least they're not making a ton of Rune Chants at this point, so maybe that's good for us. All right, hard casting a Rune Flash seems quite poor. That's what they're going for. I guess in that case, we just use our Dynamos, and then we can like Loyalty. And then we could have like a pretty okay next turn. Yeah, next turn seems pretty good. So let's just go ahead and do that. Develop the Loyalty in the graveyard, I think is worth it. Guess we also had the option to potentially go for that Arsenal. Definitely something to think about. Okay, let's start with, I guess we'll start with the red one just to see what their hand is. Okay, they have 2 D-Reacts in hand and then Rune Ranger plus that. Kind of interesting. So that almost makes me want to not. I don't know. I guess we can like mark them maybe. Maybe marking them is actually better for going for the second cut to the same cloth if they have two D-Rex in hand. So maybe just go for this and then send in this and then maybe react with it. Maybe do +2 and then I guess that still just like eats the same amount of damage. I don't know. Feels bad either way, I guess. Alright, we'll go for I guess the on-hit mark, which shouldn't matter here because they have D-React. I guess they have to now use 2 D-Reacts. Or no, wait. Which dagger did I just give this to? Oh no, sorry. We want whoops. We want to do the buff power now, right? Because the buff power will make this come in for a little bit of an awkward breakpoint. So now they have to like double Fate Foreseen if they want to prevent the mark from being taken off. All right, that's pretty good for us, I think. All right, so then we can't afford anything else, so we'll just pass. All right, swinging in with the Reaping Blade. Don't see a compelling reason to block anything here. Yep, we'll just pass. This is kind of an atypical Viserai deck. I feel like I don't see Fate Foreseen and U-Strike in Viserai typically. Kind of curious what their game plan is here. All right, how do we want to start this? I guess we can start with the Oath of, yeah, we have to start with Oath of Loyalty here, so we still don't have a kind of path to play out this cut from the same cloth, but I think that's okay. We'll probably have to pitch. Wonder which one's better to pitch here between the Maybe we're supposed to pitch Tooth actually and just take like a setup turn. I could see that being the case. All right, we get their mark. So now we're on 2 fealty. So actually, if we play this now, that means we get our weapons discounted, and then we can swing in and then play Tooth. Okay, wait, actually, then letting us hit with that was really good for us, right? So now we get to Tooth this. We can then drop of the Dragon Blood on the second one, and then... Actually, maybe we're supposed to do that now. The Tooth plus drop is a little bit awkward. I guess we don't pay to play a Vigor. I don't know. I thought I had the turn here, but maybe I don't. I guess we'll just do this to give us +1 and go again. Okay, wait, that's pretty good top deck, right? I mean, it's kind of good. We do have one floating. I mean, we might as well go for it, right? Because I mean, we just swing with like another dagger and maybe that's fine. Or we could just IP with this. Honestly, maybe IP with this is just better. Because it feels almost like a waste to use it here. Like, I don't think this is like a huge damage card or anything. Like, I think that this card is just like maybe slightly above rate. Like, I don't think this is as good as like the Syndra one. But maybe it's worth just like holding back on it just so that we have a stronger turn next turn. And we actually are making pretty good use of the Vigor here on the Endear Devotion. So that's pretty good for us. All right, coming in with an Amplify. I guess we can cash in our Dynamo value, and then do we want to do anything else? Probably not. I think we'll just pass. It's a very weird Viserai deck, or it feels like kind of either like an atypical draw or something weird is going on. How do we start this? I guess we just start with a cut. So we reveal Succumb, E-Strike, Malefic, and Amplify. Yeah, this Viserai deck is quite strange to me. So unfortunately, it seems like we're going to have to waste one of our Affirm loyalties, or like one of our fealty effects. Maybe that's okay. I guess we'll just go for this again. Maybe we'll just clear that out of our arsenal, is what I'm thinking. Come for 7. Ooh, Face Purgatory might be a little bit scary. What do we do if we get Face Purgatory? Probably just get rid of Endear and then arsenal this. Sure. Yeah, it's a little bit awkward, but gotta do what we gotta do, right? Maybe that's an argument against going for cut to the same cloth on the first dagger or something. It's still like fine for us though. Like they're not really applying a ton of pressure, it feels like. We have 3 fealty set up. We have pretty solid next turn again. The Vigor tokens are kind of coming in clutch, especially for the Endear Devotion. All right, let's cash in our Dynamos. I don't think there's like a real reason to cash in any other armor here. At some point, we probably do just want to like pad our life total a little bit, just so we're not dying to Rune Chance, but they're still not like setting up a ton of stuff. All right, we have a double Saber Bloodshed, and they're also off of the Face Purgatory, so that's really good for us. And then we also have the Vynnset, which is, I think this entire hand's like just amazing, right? So we'll go for the double Saber, and that Saber seems like just so good, by the way. Fire Vein for 9. Okay, maybe this hero's like not actually trash. Fire Vein for 9 with like 2 card draw on hit is like kind of disgusting. I feel like I like the Saber Bloodshed a lot. Obviously, it not being like a Draconic React is kind of rough, but like I think the card's just like very, very strong, right? All right, so we will just go for the Vynnset on this. Pump it to 14. Pretty good. We do not want to pay to create a Vigor here. Then I think... Wait, sorry. Why didn't we draw a card? Oh, they're not marked. Okay, never mind. This card's less good. Ah, yes, I see the problem. Okay, so maybe this card is not as good as it seems, but it's still pretty alright. Maybe you want like a little bit more mark synergy with this card or something, but I thought this was just like unconditional card draw, which I guess makes sense now that I read the card. All right, let's go in with the Obsidian Firevein. And then we can Brimstone and then use the one floating to swing with the daggers again, and then Endear Devotion on the third chain link, which is pretty good. All right, still no Vigor. Yeah, unfortunately, no way to mark here. Are there any mark reacts? They have the Searing Gaze, I think, but are they playing the other one? The other one cost one? I don't know if that one's any good. Not a bad turn though. At least we're kind of catching up in terms of life total. Yeah, so Searing Gaze is the on-hit mark one. I forget what the other. There's like a one-cost version of this. I'm not sure if that's in this deck. But the mark stuff seems like pretty solid with the Saber Bloodsheds. Seems like a pretty good combo. I think here I'm just gonna go for the Dynamo plus. I want to start cashing in armor just so we don't die to Rune Chance. So I think it's worth it here. They're not really presenting a lot of pressure still, so I'm kind of okay with that. Our Fireveins are free. We have Searing Gaze plus Hunt's End. What is Provoke doing? Probably nothing. Maybe just using it to like pay into grain or whatever. Sure, I think that seems fine. Yeah, so we'll just start with the Fireveins. All right, they're gonna give us a little bit of armor here. We could provoke this, like provoke, use a fealty and provoke. It's kind of spicy, especially if they're like blocking like this. We would lose out our loyalty though. I guess it depends how good the loyalty is. Maybe we just go for Hunt's End here. Maybe we're trying to get a little too cute. Yeah, we'll just use this for Vigor. I think it's fine. And then make another Vigor here if we want. And plus Searing Gaze, I guess. All right, go for the Searing Gaze. Come over for +1. And then create another Vigor, create a mark, and then just pass back. Seems all right. So we're pretty much set up here. I guess the question is, are they going to be able to like kill us before we kill them? I don't know that they just have enough juice to do that. All right, so we got dealt the arcane damage, so we do want to try to block this. They've used how many succumbs here? We've seen all 3 succumbs. Okay, so we don't need to play around succumb anymore. So all we have to do here is just stay alive so that we're not dying to Rune Chance. We could take 4 here. I wonder if we want to attack, or I wonder if we want to block with Kabuto just so they can't swing Reaping Blade. They could also just be going for Arsenal though. But maybe it's like fine just to prevent the 3 extra Rune Chance or whatever. We could actually go for loyalty. Maybe loyalty's better. They are marked, so the Saber is actually really good here. Okay, so now the Saber is good. Notably, we were not drawing 2 off of those 2 Sabers, but yeah, it seems fine. If they want to swing Reaping Blade, maybe we're kind of okay with that. It's only 6 damage. Gloomville is pretty good though. But they still can't swing again, so maybe it's fine. We do want to stay alive though. So maybe we do have to just block with Kabuto here. We can go to 4. That's safe for the time being. We could also use the loyalty instead of the Kabuto, which would put us to 5, and they have 1 Rune Chant and a couple on board. Yeah, we're definitely a little bit of a precarious spot here, but our hand's like really, really good next turn. Maybe we get rid of the grain and then go for loyalty. Maybe that's the play. Do we have another loyalty? We do have the other loyalty, so actually we should absolutely play loyalty here to get our card draw. All right, banish loyalty. We get a Shelter from the Storm, which is not going to do very much because we're probably going to have to like Arsenal at this turn. Also, the Oath of Loyalty is kind of anti-synergizing with the Sabers here because we can't play them unless we pop all of our fealty tokens. Maybe I got a little bit too excited about this hand. This hand kind of sucks. I guess we'll just maybe save the Oath of Loyalty for next turn. May do cut plus Saver. All right, they have more reacts in hand. They have Mordred Tide. Very strange Viserai deck. All right, we'll go for fealty plus Blade Flurry. So they can fate this, or sink this, or whatever. I think they still have that other sink in hand, too. Alright, we draw Public Bounty, which is pretty good. So we can, like, Public Bounty plus Fire Vein. Or actually, sorry, we would probably want to pay into Braid Forge, too. And then do Fire Vein. Problem is we maybe just have to discard this at instant speed just to get it out of our hand. Alright, at least they're not attacking into us, and we maybe have an okay next turn, although this hand is also kind of garbage. Yeah. It feels like the cut from the same cloths are, like, kind of wrecking us with the Oath of Loyalties here a little bit. So our opponent conceded, but I don't know that we were, like, actually going to win that. Like, maybe we just go... If we... What were we going to do that turn? We were going to do, like, Oath of Loyalty... plus, like, use Fealty to glint, and then maybe draw. Like, I don't think this hand actually, like, kills. What is the top of our deck? We draw Public Bounty. I don't know. This hero seems, like, incredibly suspect with a lot of, like, the weird stuff going on, but maybe I just need to play a little bit more with it. But I guess that was, like, an okay game. What was our opponent doing, though? This is probably the weirdest Viserai deck I think I've seen in a while. It's, like, a very... Seems like they're almost going for, like, a fatigue plan or so. I have no idea what's going on over here on the other end. But I guess the no AB actually kind of worked out against Viserai, which is kind of cool. All right, let's see if we can get one more. All right, so we have a Vynnset. I think we still probably want to go first into Vynnset. Hello. What do we want into Vinny? A crown just to dodge, like, a widespread is kind of reasonable. And maybe we can bring in some shelters. What do we want the shelters over? Maybe, like, Public Bounty again. Although Public Bounty might actually be, like, a better card than some of the other cards in this deck. Like, maybe we're actually supposed to be cutting, like... I don't know, maybe Huntsen's not actually that crazy. I don't know if Huntsen's, like, an auto-include. But maybe trying something like this and maybe leaving... Maybe the Public Bounties are, like, too synergistic with the Saber Bloodsheds or something. I don't know. I'm reaching here. I don't really know how to cipher this deck, but we'll go ahead and give it a try. Alright, so we start out with the Public Bounty, which is, I guess, good. So we can at least start with a mark on them. And I guess we can just, like, pitch the Endear and then pitch Tooth to swing in. And they're probably just going to block this, but seems okay to me. Alright, the 2 Funeral Moon block is kind of interesting. They could have actually gone for a punish there with Cole if they had it, but fortunate that they didn't have it here. I wonder if you're actually, like, I need more reps in a Vynnset, but I wonder if you're not supposed to, like, attack in a Vynnset like that. Feels like maybe that's correct. Alright, so we're taking the Wonder Enchant here for sure. And then I guess we're just cashing in our Valiant Dynamos plus the Loyalty. And our hand next turn is actually, I think, pretty alright. We just use the blue to get our weapons online. Pretty solid. Alright, they do notably still get an Eloquence token here, so we're really just denying this to come on hit if they had it. Oh, we got a pretty good hand here, honestly. Just, like, Tooth plus Searing plus Sisters of Fire is a pretty good lineup, honestly. Especially if they want to try to go for the block to try to take off the mark. Or to try to prevent us from hitting the mark. It's pretty good. Alright, I think that's actually, like, a really good block for our opponent. So we have Tooth coming in. We could Searing Gaze, but I really want to put it on the second Chain Link, I feel like. And, like, if we hit with the second Chain Link, we can still Grain anyways. I wonder if we're supposed to, like, Arsenal the Searing Gaze instead of, like, spending both of them here. It's kind of interesting. Alright, so our opponent doesn't have any Rune Chance set up. So maybe we're just supposed to try to go for, like, Searing. Like, I don't think they're gonna be able to hit us with a widespread next turn, so maybe, like, keeping Arsenal is actually fine. So let's go ahead and just pass here. See if they ever react or anything. All right, pay to create a vigor. Make our first fealty, and then they're remarked, which is good. I don't really like arsenaling Sisters of Fire, but it's probably like better than nothing. And it actually does kind of synergize with these Oath of Loyalties, which are actually really kind of bad with this hand. I guess we can use one of these to block and then do something like this. So maybe we can save an Oath of Loyalty for next turn, and maybe that's not terrible. Feels pretty bad, though. Alright, they'll go ahead and refresh the Rune Chant. They have a Bantam Banshee, also in Banish, which is pretty good. Alright, start with the Oath. I guess the neat thing about like Oath plus like Sister, I wish there were almost like more draconic starters that you can run in Fang, but like the cool thing about like Oath plus Sisters is that you can like just have one weapon swing and it's pretty good. All right, so let's go ahead and swing with Fire Vein. I think we had a bigger token, so that's why it's free. It's also kind of crazy to me that like Brains is like the best thing that Fang can be playing. Kind of sad a little bit. All right, let's go ahead and create the Vigor by pitching Provoke. And then, do we want to Brave Forge? Probably not. Maybe we just want to threaten another Vigor. The Vigors are really good early on, especially when we aren't fully online. All right, love to see a widespread destruction block. Pretty good for us. All right, we have a Deathly Delight plus 2 Rune Chance, so no AB, can't block the Rune Chance, and then 5 damage coming in. Maybe go ahead and block with like Provoke again. Or maybe like Puncture is better to block. Like do a block like this just for playing around Succumb. And then we have an Oath of Loyalty turn. We can like do Endear Devotion on the first dagger, which is kind of cool. And then we are fully online, which is also pretty neat. So I think we're in a pretty good spot here. So let's start the Oath. Right, so then we do have to swing the Fire Vein. I think that's eating our first Vigor token here. But we can actually drop a Dragon Blood to gain a resource, and then we can Endear, which will then discount our next dagger, which is pretty alright. So that's pretty good. And then we can finish on like the Long Whisker. This turn actually came out pretty good. Do we want to Arsenal Provoke, or do we want to just make some Vigor? I don't think the Vigor is maybe as important. Maybe Arsenal Provoke is better. All right, so let's go for the Fire Vein here. Then we have all the modes on Long Whisker, which is pretty neat. So we'll do it on the second dagger, sure. All right, so we'll not pay for the Vigor. They're marked, and then we get to swing one more time and maybe strip that mark off of them. I mean, the fourth fealty doesn't matter as much as like the third one, but I think it's still pretty good here. All right, we get some more blocks out of them. Pretty all right. All right, they're gonna take a setup turn. They've got a lot of blood debt here though, so maybe we can try to kill them before they're able to like develop it out. All right, how do we want to start this turn? Probably want to provoke at some point, or try to at least. Let's start with the cut from the same cloth, I guess. Our daggers are notably free this turn. So we're maybe using this Relentless Pursuit for Vigor tokens. All right, opponent also has a Coal in hand, which is kind of scary. But maybe we can just get rid of the Shelter for that. All right, so let's go ahead and send in the Fire Vein, which will come in for 5, and then we can Searing Gaze. So we have actually a couple options here. We could use this fealty token to provoke them if we wanted to. And then that would give go again. Then we can swing at the other dagger and then send that. It's kind of spicy. The only problem is that if we use the fealty like that, we would have to we'd have to like we have to pay for this dagger, which is kind of awkward. But maybe we're just pitching the blue anyway, so it doesn't matter if we pay. So I kind of like that. Maybe just go for fealty here and then provoke. Or, I don't know what happened. All right, go for provoke here. I don't know if this is actually good, but it seems like maybe all right. It at least like plays around the cull, I think, if we were forcing them to like block with a card. And then we can just swing the other dagger and then put Searing Gaze on it. So I guess they now still have the opportunity to call if they want. Did we go? We're going to go back up a fealty, right? So we can swing this for free. And if they want to banish our shelter, I think that's maybe okay. All right, we'll go for the Searing on this. All right, so they have a reduce, which is fine with us. I imagine they're maybe going to try to go for a banish, but I'm not entirely sure. Oh, maybe not. Okay. All right, so we have 3 fealty here. We have a firm, which is also really solid. We have Vigor token, which you may use to like public bounty them. So they are probably going to be able to call us here too. So we'll go ahead and cash in our Dynamos. Do we want to maybe get a little bit aggressive with Crown? We could. But it also feels like it's maybe not necessary. Like maybe we honestly just banish like the public bounty on our turn and then like just do some good solid 0 cost Cheerio stuff. Yeah, it seems alright. Do we want to shelter this now, I guess is the question. I guess we don't need to, right? Alright, they're going to go for Cole, which is pretty good. Alright, let's get rid of Public Bounty, I think, is probably the worst card here. Alright, and then let's send in our daggers for free. Oh, we actually probably should have. I'm now realizing this, that maybe we actually wanted to use the shelter there so we can Arsenal Blade Flurry, because I'm just now realizing that Blade Flurry is kind of awkward on this hand. Alright, so we'll pass on the Crown. They're not marked, so we don't have a way to actually get a fealty. Yeah, I think I maybe fumbled the sequencing here a little bit. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Alright, and then we could swing in the other Fire Vein, I guess. Alright, we can replay out the Affirm. And I guess, what are we doing with this Blade Flurry now? I guess we have to, like, just hold on to it and create a Vigor. So I think the actual sequence there was we were supposed to block with Shelter because we had the Blade Flurry in hand that we wanted to Arsenal. I thought we wanted to play the Blade Flurry this turn, but I think that we didn't have the way to use the fealty token without having to pay resources, which is awkward. All right, another little bit of an awkward hand here. But I think it's like salvageable here, so we'll go ahead and start with Fire Vein. And then we can now use fealty for Blade Flurry. So you need to have 4 fealty if you want to use Blade Flurry, which is, I think, a good mental note. Shelter and Slap Happy, obviously not great draws. All right, let's go ahead and pop the fealty here so that we can use Blade Flurry. Then maybe we can use some of these cards to just make some bigger tokens. All right, notably our first Vigor token, we can just use the existing Vigor token, and then we can swing it with this. All right, we'll come in with the Long Whisker for buff, and Mark, I guess, is pretty good. And we'll do it on the second one. All right, they have a reduced cover as well. So a little bit unfortunate that we're having to have these in hand, but I guess we can actually just like discard these if we really want to. It's honestly probably better than nothing. I don't know. Cards kind of stuck in hand. Alright, opponent has a widespread here, but we have to react for that, so that's good. Alright, so we'll take all the rune damage. Alright, and then we'll just go ahead and react on this. Alright, they have Succumb, which we also have a loyalty from Beyond the Grade for. It's not even that bad. Alright, then they swing with Flail. I guess we can go ahead and just cash in our Brave Board just so they don't get a rune chant. Alright, go ahead and get our free card draw. We draw blue. So notably our opponent's unmarked, so our Saber Bloodshed's not very good right now. I guess it's still like we have to play it. Yeah, I guess we'll just go for cut plus Saber and just use it as a 0 for 4. Alright, so I have a widespread, an Eloquent, a Deathly Wail, and then a Deadwood Dirge. So maybe you're going to go for like a Deathly Wail next turn. Alright, so go ahead and play the Saber as well. And swing in with the Fire Vein. Riveting gameplay, these Obsidian Fire Veins. Alright, get another free fealty. And then we can use our green here. Get another bigger token, and then our Soul Shelter. Still in a pretty alright spot. Alright, Arsenal Shelter. Pretty good next hand, honestly. Alright, they're gonna dirge it up, sure. Opponent's actually developed a lot of Blood Debt, which I think I'm kind of happy about. Alright, block with Dynamos, and then probably just slap happy this. I guess we could also shelter this, and it's probably the same. Sure. Opponent's been taking, I think, a lot of damage from Blood Debt. Alright, so we can just cut from the same cloth on this. Alright, swing in the Fire Veins. Alright, go ahead and use Blistering up. Get our Vigor. Send another Fire Vein. And then we can affirm to just get another fealty. Pretty alright. Alright, not pay another Vigor because this basically represents another Vigor. It's another Vigor that we can like block with, which is pretty solid. Alright, and then Malefic plus Eloquent Eulogy coming in. I don't think we care about an Eloquence token, so I think we're just going to get max life value out of this. Alright, use that Slap Happy up. 2 Vigors is pretty nice on this next hand because we can use it for Endear Devotion plus another Vigor token. And then we can use Blade Flurry plus Fealty because we have at least 4 Fealty. So yeah, start with the Saber, which is notably not doing a lot here. Card's a lot better when you're able to mark your opponent. But I think the card's still like kind of scary, or at least threatening. Alright, go ahead and pop our Fealty token, and then send in Blade Flurry. Pretty solid amount of damage here. Alright, pay create the Vigor, and then send this in. And imagine we just kind of have them dead to Blood Debt here. Alright, we get the Endear. And then we also have the Infirm Loyalty. Cool. So I think that just about does it. Alright, they have a Coal in hand, yeah. Seems like they were probably just dead to Blood Debt, even if they were able to like react there. So at least we can beat Vynnset, which is not saying a ton about Vynnset. Vynnset fellow up here. But yeah, I think this deck is like very playable. It's not actually that bad. Like this deck especially seems like very streamlined. I think the problem is this deck is just waiting for like Zen to leave and also maybe waiting for Like some of the other heroes like Enigma and like Viserai, I think those are kind of like the rougher matchups. But we were able to actually like do pretty well with this deck. I think that there's a lot of like weird nuance to this deck. Like I think that like what we saw at the end there, where I like punted with Blade Flurry. I think that a good rule of thumb for Blade Flurry is maybe you have to have like 4 fealty already made, or you have to like account for like the dagger swings, which I wasn't doing. So there's definitely some like complexity to this deck. I don't think it's like completely just like boring numbers deck, but it to some extent kind of is. This deck it feels like it's just kind of like a bad numbers deck, but anyways, it's at least fun. I think there's some fun interactions, and it feels like getting up the fealties up and like managing your fealty resources is kind of cool. Yeah, so that was F tier Fridays with Fang. Again, this is David Yao's list from I think the Blue Pitch team, so shout out to him. I watched his match and it was quite cool. So good to see that there's some non-Zen heroes that are doing well. But yeah, anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see y'all next time.